My rookie year, Champ Bailey got hurt for 6 weeks, so I had to play. I played the first game. Peyton threw those 7 touchdowns. That was my welcome to the league moment. It was just like we playing against the Baltimore Ravens. Peyton comes out there, he lights up the show against the Ravens. We playing Joe Flacco.
Wasn't that after his Super Bowl run?
So Flacco
Ravens,
them just
right?
won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And we lost to them in the playoffs. Coming in as a rookie, playing the 4 games of the preseason, and then we kicking off our season with the champions of the world, and
of the world, Craig.
And now you seeing these, like how our approach to this weekend was just like it's payback week.
What up, everybody? I'm Peanut Tillman, and this is the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. And with me, as always, as my trusty co-host, Roman Q-Dog Harper.
Shout out to the bros. Yeah, man, really looking forward to this one, man. Our next guest, a very, very successful person on and off the field.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to go to the restaurant, honestly. I'm just like...
We should have did this at the restaurant.
We should have did this at the restaurant.
Yeah. He's an 8-year vet, played in 2 Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl. He's a restaurant owner, a public speaker. He's an author.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the pod, Kayvon Webster.
Yeah!
Yeah!
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? For sure.
I like that jacket right there.
Oh yeah, I appreciate the
That's
fabrics.
that new gen stuff right there. Yeah, I like that.
This is a little old school.
I like it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
sure.
you for coming.
I'm actually from South Florida, right down the street. At my little league park, we've had the pleasure of having Sean Spence, Kenny Phillips, Kayvon Webster, Teddy Bridgewater, and some other players that came behind me and before me.
So all through your park growing up. So this is who you got to see. So it was a lot of pride taking and coming and playing at this park, right?
Of course. Well, not starting out because, didn't know any of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Knew Statman, knew Teddy because we all played at the park in the same era. The other guys, you find out as you got older and, it became one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so tell me this then. So we go from Little League. Let's go to high school. How is it, your high school, being in the NFL's Super Bowl high school honor roll? Because, Kayvon, you played in Super Bowl 48 and you won 50. Mm-hmm. That's correct. But then you had some other guys that were actually had been in Super Bowls too from your high school.
Right.
Stephen Morris.
Okay.
DeMarcus Van Dyke.
Yeah.
Joel Rodriguez.
Those my boys right there.
Yeah.
Van Dyke was 2 years ahead of me. He went to UM and he got drafted by the Raiders. And he's coaching at USF now, school that I went to college at. Steven was my quarterback my senior year at Monsignor. And Joel was a coach. I had the pleasure of talking to him, going to Monsignor Pace too. I went to 3 high schools.
Okay.
I went to Carroll City first. That's how the journey started for me.
Yeah.
And then I transferred from there. I went to Miami Norland. I was able to play with Xavier Rhodes and Antonio Brown. And
was Xavier Rhodes still as big in high school? Like, how big was he in high school?
Zay always been that size.
Okay, because
he was always tall and slim.
Yeah.
He always been that size.
Going to 3 different high schools, I see you were able to become a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. To me, I think it's hard enough to become a 3-star, but when you move different schools, I think that makes it harder. Was the NFL always the goal for you?
No question. When you play in Little League, you definitely want to see yourself on TV one day. Yeah. And, you put that work in to, get to that goal. Just take it one day at a time. My family is not from sports background, so I'm like the first playing football, going to college, NFL type thing. So the support was just in, okay, you guys winning games, not really knowing about football or the business or about how that stuff works. So that was trials and tribulation that I had took up on myself.
So you make it to the NFL, right? I want to know, What was that welcome to the NFL moment?
A welcome moment for me would be meeting my favorite player.
Who was that?
Champ Bailey.
Okay.
Getting drafted to the Denver Broncos. That was my favorite team. Okay. My first game, I saw them, watching organizing football. The first game I ever watched was Denver Broncos playing against Atlanta Falcons. And Denver put on a great show. TD did his thing. And I've been a fan ever since.
Was that like in the Super Bowl, that one?
Yeah. My dad loves the Dolphins. And I've always went against my dad's whatever he likes. So Denver was that team for me. And I always loved Denver. Had John Elway jersey, Terrell Davis jersey growing up. So yeah, my welcoming moment would be, just meeting Champ Bailey and getting drafted to my favorite team. And then, playing there 4 years, 2 Super Bowls, hell of an experience.
Yeah.
My path kind of chose itself. I started playing sports. I had coaches taking interest, coaches picking me up for workouts.
Okay, so then when you reached that goal, what was that moment like when you got that call in the 3rd round?
It was great. It was a great moment. Even though my phone died in that process, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Why did you not have that thing charged?
So when you from so this is the thing, right?
So see what had happened.
Let me tell you, this is the thing. I didn't really have chances to have a cell phone, and when I did, it wasn't like I was glued to it.
Yeah.
Even going to the NFL with the phone dying, my friend had the phone. He came, brought it to me. I answered it, speaking for about 30 seconds. Phone dies. Plug it up, call them back, set up that trip to go out there,
Oh, you called them back?
Yeah, I kind of.
Hey, you might.
But not really, but yeah.
Be the first guy.
Yeah.
That I ever heard who on draft day was like, oh yeah, I was talking to him for 30 seconds and my phone died.
It did. It was a crazy situation.
We had the great Hall of Fame Darryl Green cornerback come on our show.
Okay.
And he's talking about defensive backs and he's talking about cornerbacks. And he says there is a difference. Do you consider yourself a corner or do you consider yourself a defensive back?
I would say I'm a defensive back because I've had to play nickel, dime, safety, and corner at times. I'm a football player, so I play special team. I play wherever my coach needed me to play. Wherever he said, "Okay, you line up at," that's always been who I am. And even going to college, I wasn't a cornerback. I didn't play defensive back. I used to rush the quarterback and get sacks.
Yeah.
I played outside linebacker. I was guarding running backs and tight ends. South Carolina was my first offer at defensive back to change my mind and say, okay, I'm gonna have to change another position because my position, grew over the time of playing football. First year I played center, but I used to score touchdowns at center.
Yeah.
With center sneaks. And then I went to running back, and then I went to linebacker. Then I went to wide receiver in high school, and that's how I got my stars.
You a DB or are you a corner? What are you?
I'm
gonna answer for you. A safety.
Yeah, I'm a safety. I was gonna say, bro, I'm a safety.
Don't even why you a safety?
Yeah, I'm a safety.
Already got it for you.
I'm a safety, bro. Like, what are you?
I'm a corner.
Yeah, there we go. See?
I'm a straight corner. Although I did play safety in high school and college.
Right.
I played safety strictly in high school and college.
And you also were a special teamer too.
I am a special teamer.
So you do a lot.
I think the league was the first time that I legit accepted the fact that I was just like,
a corner.
Right, I'm a corner.
Yeah.
Because when I got drafted, they didn't say you were a corner or safety. They was just like, we drafting defensive
back.
He's a defensive back.
So I had no clue what I was when I went to Chicago. So I had to ask the head coach actually.
Yeah.
We're walking down the hallway and he was just like, I think we're going to try you at corner first just to see what that looks like. And I was
that panned out well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like you said though, wherever the coach needed me, I'd have played safety. I'd have did whatever he needed me to do. So
yeah, coming into the league, you playing 2 Super Bowls in your first 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. It was NFL's easy.
Never thought that the NFL was easy. I trained with coming out and going to the league. I trained with Antonio. He never made anything easy. He was the first person I seen record everything as far as like workouts. So like when that camera on, you wanted to be your very best because he was gonna post it.
That was like,
that was the mentality back then. We worked really hard, bro. We swam, we ran on the track, we did beach workouts, we did a lot of field workouts, we did a lot of recovery together. Me, him, Xavier Rhodes, even Geno Smith, Stedman Bailey, and a couple of other guys, Jonathan Cyprian, that was from South Florida. We used to get a lot of work in together.
Yeah. I guess I think what you were trying to say though is I'll go a little deeper is not that it was easy, but you went to 2 Super Bowls like fairly quickly, and guys go their entire careers without ever. I mean, guy might go 12, 13 years, and he finally gets a Super Bowl, and you got yours pretty early in your career. So
I would say I got blessed. I got blessed.
Yeah,
I got blessed because my last 2 years of college, we lost 16 games. My senior year we lost 9 games, and my junior year we lost 7 games. But out of those 7 games, 6 of them we lost on the last play of the game. So we supposed to have been 11-1 at South Florida, and we should have been ranked. But my first 2 years we had, we won some bowl games against Clemson and against Northern Illinois. So my first 2 years was like my first 2 years in the league. It was just like, oh, this is what we doing, and then, adversity hits you your last 2 years of college, and you like, how are these people gonna see me if we losing these games and I'm not able to make these plays? I just found a way. I led the team in tackles my senior year. Even though I wasn't getting thrown at that much, I was heavily involved in the run game, and so the opportunity for me to get to the league always was there, just about the mindset that I had.
So Super Bowl 50, obviously you guys win, we lose. We get our ring ceremony. I don't think any of us was like too geeked about getting our NFC Championship ring because it was like a second place ring, right? You get your ring. What was the first thing you did when you saw that box, the ceremony, the presentation? Walk me through that night. Talk me through that event.
It was a movie night. You get you a little date. You go into I'm not married, so had a date. I was in a relationship at the time.
Young fella? Do you?
We went to we pull up. We got, Ubers had just came out.
Yeah.
Pull up Uber truck to the stadium. They got the carpet laid out.
Red carpet, yeah.
Or we even talk about the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl one was magnificent. It was gold, everything. Tables was gold. We had this gold box on our table. Announcer came in that announces the games. It just like a whole movie happening. So everybody has their table, everybody standing with their dates, coaches announcing things, and then the rings come out. So all the phones come out, everybody start taking pictures with each other. It was a great day,
So if I heard you right though, y'all got 2 rings? Y'all got an AFC and a Super Bowl ring? Or y'all just
We do. Yeah, remember we lost against Russell, so we got the AFC championship win.
My bad. You threw both.
But we had a ceremony for that too. Came in a nice little box with a light on it.
Yeah, we got that.
I got to reorder that. I think I might have lost the AFC ring.
You don't even care about it.
I do care about it. It's just that when you moving. So through my journey, I've been able to move from Florida to Denver to LA, and then from LA to Texas to train, and then go to the Houston Texans, back to Florida, to New Orleans, then to Washington. So it was a lot of traveling, a lot of moving around, don't know where everything is, It was only me, taking on this NFL by myself. My parents didn't really, knew too much about the business side of it or what's going on. For all they know, it's just like, my son ain't made it. He in the NFL, a lot of things happening, not to say I didn't care about the ring, but I ain't lose that Super Bowl 50 ring. That was the one that, we won, and, I'm pretty sure I can get the AFC championship ring back.
You can. You talked about how you're kind of attacking the NFL by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you got all these other guys that you grew up with or that you practice or train with. Like, that's kind of a support system. But the fact that, like, your parents, they weren't football people. They weren't there for all those things. Like, that was not my experience.
Right.
My experience is both my parents, big football people.
Right.
My brother played. My oldest brother played. My sister like grew up around it. My dad coached. So like I grew up in this football family. This football world.
I'm jealous of you.
Yeah, man. No, don't be.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking you. What was that like? What was that journey like when you are?
It was tough.
Like one of, I guess, when everybody else's world does not revolve around football.
I would say it was tough because the communication wasn't there as far as like, you know, what you battling. They, for all they know, is my son is strong-minded. He going to do what he needs to do for himself and his family. But yeah, a lot of navigation was, you know, just staying positive, staying prayerful. My grandmother is 91. She's always sent me prayers and, you know, things to read every day. So I think that's what's kept me, you know, a little bit safer through my journey. Even though I was unable to communicate with them about certain things, I was able to communicate about the way I felt, about the things I'm taking on, and about where I want to be at, you know, when I'm done with the game.
Yeah. So we're all DBs. I played on some really good defensive backfields. You played on some good defensive backfields. Not as good as mine, but I'm just gonna throw that out there. You had a chance to be a part of the no-fly zone,
right?
And you played against the Legion of Boom, or you got a chance to see them. I would like to know your impression against them when you saw them in Super Bowl 48. What'd you think of Legion of Boom versus no-fly zone?
Say it.
I'm taking the no-fly zone.
Why?
That's no question.
Talk your talk.
For the simple fact that
because TJ said y'all were better because y'all played more man. So I just
so I would say you were right. We played man like 95% of the time. It was incredible, you know, being around Talib and being around Chris Harris. Those guys were students of the game, and those two guys, they kind of changed the culture of the Denver Broncos when it came to what it means to be a professional and being prepared. Everybody was accountable for the film, and you know, the route recognition, just knowing what your man gonna do on certain downs. That was a big thing for us, and you would get called out for that if you didn't know what was going on. So even, you know, being not a starter, you was always a play away from having to go in the game, and the leaders of our team, they expected the same results whether they was out there or not, you know, and that raised the whole morale of the team. We were always together. We had linebackers watching film. We had D-line watching film together. It was just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I was gonna. That was gonna be my question. Is staying motivated, but it sounds like you had a great group of veteran guys that continue to pour into you, and then you had this wherewithal to like, dude, I'm just one play away.
Yeah, I mean, that was the mentality from even when they wasn't there, you know. My rookie year, you know, Champ Bailey got hurt for 6 weeks, so I had to play, you know. I played the first game, you know, Peyton threw those 7 touchdowns. You know, that was my welcome to the league moment. It was just like we playing against the Baltimore Ravens on this Sunday night. Peyton comes out there, he lights up the show against, you know, the Ravens. We playing Joe Flacco.
Wasn't that after the Super Bowl run?
So Flacco Ravens, them just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And we lost to them in the playoffs, you know. I wasn't there. I was in college still. So coming in as a rookie, playing the 4 games of the preseason, and then we kicking off our season with the champions of the world, you know, and
of the world, Craig.
And now you know you seeing these, like how our approach to this weekend was just like, it's payback week. We supposed to won that Super Bowl, and so, you know, Peyton came out on fire.
Yeah,
you know, that whole year we was on fire.
Yeah, that's when he had the what was the tight end's name that was so good?
Julius.
Yeah, Julius.
So we had a really great team that year. It was we had Julius, we had Eric Decker, DT, we had Andre Caldwell, we had Wes Welker.
I had the running backs.
We had Noshawn Marino, Monte Ball, Julius Thomas.
Yeah,
we had a great we had a great team.
I love
and from right then, it was just like you one play away. You know, you next man in. So I got to be just as household name as those players that's before me.
Yeah. So I want to transition into your second act.
Okay.
Right. So you're out of the league, and I think you did an interview, and you said football was something that I did. It wasn't who I was.
Right.
And I think a lot of players, they struggle with the identity of letting the game go. They all kind of go through like a small bout of depression, just trying to figure out the next step in life. How did you handle your transition once you left the game?
I didn't even give myself time to sit down and think about it. I just kept going. I worked out every day, but I also had a business. I had already invested a certain amount of money into it.
Mm-hmm. What business?
Into the food and beverage business. So I started my food truck business when I was playing for the Rams. It was like right after my surgery.
That's Vibe 305?
Yeah, Vibe 305 food truck. Started that in California. Was out there for 6 months. And then when I went to the Texans, it was still operating, and I just shut it down. When I left the Texans, I came back to South Florida, and I wanted to bring my business back, back home. I opened that up during the pandemic. I was still, training, going on visits to teams. Mm-hmm. And, that's how I got into, the food journey. So I never really had time to sit down and say, I'm depressed about not playing. It was just like, bro, I can't sit myself down to do this. I got to keep going to what's the next thing that's going to pivot my life. It was like I had more longevity in my business life than I had left in my football life because of the injuries I sustained. The torn Achilles, the labrum tear, the, grade 3 tear in the quad, breaking my hand. Those things were things to think about, like, damn, do I leave the game now? Because this the most I ever been injured. And I had invested money. So it's like, I don't trust these people that I'm investing the money in. So which one has more life expectancy? My money that I'm investing, or me just trying to try out for these teams and hoping that they see past the injuries or past whatever they heard about Kayvon Webster going through the buzz of the NFL,
So now that you have your establishments, they're established.
Yeah,
you're in the food and beverage industry. Have you actually had time to sit down and just process your injuries, your career, the league, and everything else?
Not really. The food and beverage industry is tough. Like, everybody knows about that. So every day is about planning for other people's lives. How can you make other people just as successful as you in your vision, and every day that's what your mind is on like, damn, how could I get better? How can I make this business better for whoever is working here? And it just always kept my mind busy on like what's to do next.
So what made you start food truck first?
Let's see. I had a private chef in California.
What's his name?
I started out with Chef Kayla, and then I ended up with Chef Flip and Chef Terry. Chef Flip was the private chef for me for the 4 months that I was a part of the Rams. We started a meal prep program. The prices had got a little pricier, and then I sat down. I watched a movie called Chef.
Yeah.
I sat there and watched Chef. If y'all don't have a chance to sit down and watch a movie, watch Chef. It was a chef. He worked in a restaurant for a restaurant owner that didn't want to let him cook his food. A food critic came by, bashed him. He wound up getting fired. He left. He got a food truck. The food truck he took on the road. And so in my mind, I was thinking I could do the same thing. I had enough capital. I looked up food trucks, research in Los Angeles, and it was just like, if you own a food truck and you're open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, $300,000 gross. I was just looking at that, and I said, well, Chef, this is the next thing. We from Florida. We live in California. There's nothing that we like to eat out here. it's a need for what we want to eat, because my teammates, they eat the food that you make. So let's create something that's from home and that can get them the same feel I feel when you making this food. We went and got a food truck. I opened it up with Chef Terry. Chef Terry's been with me from 2018 until 2022.
Okay.
Pandemic happened. The food truck had outgrew the space that it was in, and then I had to find a place to, park it. We found a restaurant that was abandoned. It was during the pandemic, so that was the great time to negotiate deals.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got birthed into saying, okay, I'm having a restaurant. What kind of restaurant am I going to have? Is it going to be a lounge restaurant, or is it just going to be straight fine dining? At this time, Chef Flip wasn't working with me. He introduced himself to a food critic, which is Smith, Star X Smith.
Star X Smith, I wrote that down.
Right. And so Star X Smith was a food critic. He came by the food truck. I had watched a review of his right before he got to the space. And immediately when he began talking, I was just like, instead of you critiquing, how about you help? And he was like, no one had ever, said that to him. And me being fresh out of the league, him being a restaurateur, going to different restaurants and, getting his experience up, I thought it would have been a great idea to have a food critic and me partner up, to learn the ropes of the restaurants, of the things that he visited versus me being in operation on the food truck. And, Smith & Webster was born, off of that.
So the pandemic was something that the entire world had to kind of deal with and go through, and essential workers and shutting down certain businesses.
Right.
Frontline workers, obviously, they had to continue to keep working. Talk about the pride you had with your food truck feeding first responders.
It was great. It was a great feeling, being able to still be there during a tough time where there was uncertainty about where the world was at, and still being able to put a smile on these people's face. You pulling up to you pulling up the hospitals, and you just feeding the patients. You pulling up the firefighter stations and you feeding them, and it just was a great feeling. People taking your vision and enjoying the vision that you created. Seeing that is priceless.
What's the best thing on the menu?
It depends if you want to go in the beef route or if you want to go into the seafood route. So in the beef route, I would say we have this 8-layered oxtail lasagna. It's an 8-hour process. Chef Freddie and Chef Janae, they do a great job of, making sure that's staple for Smith & Webster. It comes with a 3-hour marinara sauce, 8-layered lasagna. You got your ricotta on top with a basil leaf, and a sprinkled Grand Padano cheese and some chives. That would be if you go into the beef world. If you go into the seafood world, I would say it's either the catfish or the salmon nola. In that nola rice, it is a Dijon rice, mushroom rice, but with a remix in it. It has chopped pork in there, pulled chicken thighs, jerk chicken thighs, and it's finished with 2 16 by 20 shrimps, and just glazed with either a tartar sauce for the fish or a miso for the salmon, or you can get, you can go back into the beef world with the lamb chops with the house-made chimichurri. So my favorite thing would be everything, because it's made from scratch. We know where it's sourced from. We know what we're doing. We know we're not warming up food from places. We actually going in there playing with measurements and actually trying to be consistent, with the flavor.
I'm glad I asked that question. He gave us the whole rundown on the menu. If you were my waiter, I don't know if I would like that answer because that was too much. I'm like, see, now I don't know what I want now.
You got the money. Hey, give me everything. What you just said, I'm going to just give me everything. I'm going to take a little bit of that, a little bit of this.
Let me tell you another thing, Peanut. Don't you count my blessings on this show. Don't be counting my blessings.
I want to talk about children's books, right? I read earlier that you're an author. I'm an author. I wrote a kid children's book, and I love this idea because every year around Black History Month, they come out with all these inventors, and I'm looking at IG, and it has all these amazing African American poets, artists, inventors, just everything about what they've contributed to life.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, I never learned that in school.
Right.
And I love the idea of the fact that you have this book, Kayvon's Webster Dictionary, and you have this book of inventors.
Yeah.
Talk about the idea and where that idea even came from.
I would say, so a lot of my ideas, a lot of who I am was born when I tore my Achilles.
Okay.
I just had to be innovative because, going through a process like that, coaches telling you that you're never going to run the same, or you're not going to be the player who you was before these injuries. I just they just send your mind into a whirlpool. And I was looking at these opportunities of staying motivated on my journey to get back to where I was at so that I could be, fully functional. It started out as me just picking words of the week and saying, okay, I'm using this word of the week, and this how I'm going to go about my week with this word. We recorded some videos, we put it on YouTube, and it got a good response. And then it was just like, let's just turn this into a book. We can inspire the next person to not give up through no matter what trauma they're facing when it comes to injuries or what they're walking through in life. They'll be able to pick this book up and be motivated on their journey, And so that's how the kids book was born for me. With the inventors, it was like, I read a book and I was like, I never knew about half these people,
Same.
Us being inventors of medicine.
When I looked at the cliff notes of your book, I'm like, yeah, I didn't even know. Like,
it's dope. I love the concept.
It was like I didn't know
it's an amazing
I didn't
idea.
know we had the first bank. Like,
yeah,
I didn't know we had.
It's an amazing idea.
We made medical. We made patents. We were inventors of certain things that I didn't know. So I was just like, well, we got to get this out, and that's how I went about it. I was just like, well, let's create something that we can get out.
Yeah.
You had an IG post, and this is what you said. There was a time I was just trying to survive, trying to figure out life, purpose, and how to make my vision real. Yesterday, God allowed me to stand in front of over 100 young kings and queens through the Jack and Jill Foundation and speak life into their dreams. I didn't just share my journey as a restaurateur. I shared pain, perseverance, faith, and proof that obedience of God's plan will take you places talent alone cannot. Kayvon, are you living your purpose-driven life?
Yes, I feel like I am walking in my purpose because my purpose is to help other people. I feel like that's always been my purpose. I'm not no more blessed than the next person. I just always took advantage of my opportunities with other people in mind and saying, like, if I was on the other side of that, how would I be or how would I react? And I think the biggest thing you could do is to help someone else grow.
This is a question that we ask a lot of our guests that come on this show. Mount Rushmore. These four picks of people that have had influence on you in your life that helped shape, mold, and the incredible young man that you are today. If you had 4 picks, who would those 4 people be and why?
Let's put God first.
Okay.
All right.
Let's put Granny next.
Okay, Granny. What Granny
why
do?
Granny?
I have her kind of like personality. She's always been, the laid back person. She's always been open with her home or whatever she has. She's always thinking of positivity, regardless of being in storms. She just like, it's gonna work out, baby. Don't even think about it. Just focus on what you could focus on and, balance the things you can't. So that's why she would be on my Mount Rushmore, because I always have that, thought of her sending me that message randomly out of the blue. Next, I would say my mom, because, without her, I wouldn't be here, And then for number 4, I would just say all of my coaches, really. It would be like a multi-faced coach. Yeah. My high school coach, Coach Mario, he was very big for me growing up. Used to pick me up at 5 a.m. We used to work out before class. He was the first person that made me feel like I could go to college and that I should go to college.
Yeah.
Because he went to Kansas State. He was another big reason for me getting introduced to Jim Leavitt at South Florida because he played for him at, K-State. Coach Mario's a great guy. And, at the time when I was coming out, it was just like I wanted to be like Coach Mario, being a, great guy and, giving back to the youth, helping other people develop their dreams. Larry Scott, he's a head coach at Howard. He was there with me my first 2 years of college. After going through firings and then, having to deal with that new coach syndrome of people trying to tell you who you are or who your character. Like I had a coach one time. So in college I ran track and he was just like, "You're not dedicated to football." And I was just like, I don't understand how you feel like that if I'm up at 6 a.m., I'm on the track. Yeah. I go to class in the middle of the day and I come to football practice. Like, I'm doing more than anybody here. Like, I'm dedicated to this.
You didn't tell him that.
I did. So
you said it with your chest?
Yeah, I said it with my chest. So in that process, that kind of conversation, that kind of changed my trajectory, kind of say, because I was supposed to be a starter. I started my freshman year, but then when we got new coaches, I, took the back seat because of, that conversation and some business things. So, I lost my position. I was the third. I went from number 1 to number 3, just because they wanted to get other guys who had seniors looks.
Oh, that's bogus.
But that was a whole nother thing. So, Coach Scott kept my mind strong in that, said, "Bro, you came here for a reason. Don't let no one deter you from that. Control the things you can, balance the things you can't." And, Rick Smith, he was big for me mentality-wise because no matter how many plays I made or, he always kept his foot on my neck. Like, that wasn't shit. And so that made me go to practice every day with my chip on my shoulder, like, I'm finna show him, And, Coach Skip, his dad, Lou Holtz, came out. He was our DB coach for a couple weeks, and it was like, talking to an NFL coach in college, and it was just like, he was like, "You gonna make it. Like, whatever you, just keep doing what you're doing. Like, I don't know what it is you doing." He got so those are surreal moments, having those coaches involved in my life.
Kayvon, man, I appreciate you, man.
Thank y'all, man.
For stopping by, man, bro, and continue many more blessings and successes, bro. Your life was different than mine, but I feel like we share the same soul just because we're DBs.
For sure.
I mean, well, you're a DB. I'm a safety, and
I'm a corner.
And you're a corner.
You're a corner.
Yeah,
straight corner.
I had to play all.
Yeah, that, but you always rise through challenge, man.
For sure.
Good luck to you, man, in your restaurant and everything else that you're doing, and continue to push forward, man. And anytime we're here in South Florida, we'll definitely try and stop by.
For sure. Thank y'all for having me.
No doubt, man. Thank you as always tuning in. Whether you pick up your podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio app, make sure you continue to like, share, subscribe. Give us a follow. Make sure subscribing and follow. Same thing, Roman. Get it right. And then make sure you leave a couple comments, leave a message, and Peanut, get us out of here, bro.
Make sure you tell a friend and tell her what?
Tell a friend, tell a friend.
And check us out on the NFL's YouTube channel. I'm Peanut Tillman. That's Roman Harper. That's Kayvon. And this is the NFL Players Second Acts Podcast. And we are out.